In supply chain management software, the forecast is a calculation that is fed data from real-time transactions. It's based on a set of variables that are configured for a number of statistical forecast situations. Planning professionals are required to use the software to provide the best forecast situation possible, and often this is left unchecked for long periods of time. To best use the forecasting techniques in the supply chain software, planners should review their decisions with respect to the internal and external environment. They should adjust calculation to provide a more accurate forecast based on the information they have. Statistical forecasts are the best estimates of what will occur in the future, based on past demand. Historical demand data can be used to produce a forecast with simple linear regression. This gives equal weight to demand of historical periods and projects, and future demand. However, forecasts today put greater emphasis on more recent demand data than older data. Putting more weight on recent data is called smoothing. Exponential smoothing is even greater weighting given to more recent historical periods. Therefore, a period 2 months ago has greater weight than a period 6 months ago. The weight is called the alpha factor, and the heavier the weight or alpha factor, the fewer historical periods are used to create the forecast. For example, a high alpha factor gives heavy weight to recent periods, and demand from periods from a year or two ago are weighted so lightly that they have no bearing on the overall forecast. A low alpha factor means historical data is more relevant to the forecast. Historical periods generally contain demand data from a fixed month, i.e., June or July. However, this introduces error into the calculation as some months have more days than others, and the number of work days can vary. Some companies use daily demand to alleviate this error. But if the forecaster understands the error, monthly historical periods can be used, along with a tracking indicator to identify when the forecast deviates significantly from the actual demand. The level at which the tracking signal flags the deviation is determined by the forecaster or software and varies between industries, companies, and products. A small deviation may require intervention when the product being forecasted is of high value, whereas a low-value item may not require such high-level scrutinization of the forecast. Non-statistical forecasting is found in supply chain management software, where demand is forecasted based on quantities determined by production planners. This occurs when a planner enters in a subjective quantity that they believe the demand will be without any reference to historical demand. Another non-statistical forecasting occurs when demand for an item is based on the results of material requirements planning runs. This takes the demand for the finished good and explodes the bill of materials so that a demand is calculated for the component parts. The component demand can then be amended by the planner based on their assessment and knowledge of the current environment. The resulting forecast is based on current demand and will not incorporate any demand from previous periods. Many companies will use a combination of non-statistical and statistical forecasting across their product line. Statistical forecasting is based on complex calculations. Future demand can be determined based on demand from historical periods. Forecasts give planners a guide to future demand, but no forecast is totally accurate. And the planner's experience and knowledge of the current and future environment is important in determining the future demand of a company's products. Visit Amosoft.com to learn more about this and all our EDI services.